What's up everyone? Welcome back to Frostburg PE with you and me. Today's lesson is going to be a little bit different because of today's topic. We are going to skip the warm-up and jump right into it. So today we will be learning how to juggle 3 objects. This lesson is going to be very similar to what we did for the jump rope lesson a couple of weeks ago, where we go through a gradual progression to help you get started. So for step 1 to juggling, the first thing you want to do is grab 3 plastic grocery bags, just like these. Now the goal here is to start off with objects that will fall slowly to the ground when you throw them in the air. Since it falls slowly, it gives us a chance to react and practice that juggling motion before we get into using a regular ball. Step 2 is understanding how we hold our bags in our hands before we even start our juggle. So we have 3 bags, which means one hand will have 1 bag and then the other hand will have 2 bags in it. Now it's up to you to decide which hand starts with the 2 bags. Personally, I like to use my dominant hand, which is my right hand, because I have better control with it. Because with the next step, and I'll explain this later, you're going to need to throw 1 bag in the air while still holding on to the other one in that same hand. So you want to make sure that whichever hand you're choosing, you have really good control to throw 1 bag in the air while holding on to the other. For step 3, it's now starting that first toss. And this is what I was discussing a little bit back in step 2. But now we're going to go into a little bit more detail. So, for step 3, make sure you have the 1 bag in one hand, and then 2 bags in your other hand. Now this is going to be a little bit tricky because with this hand that has the 2 bags, you're going to need to throw 1 in the air while still holding on to the other one. You also want to keep in mind how hard and how high you are throwing your bags. So it's going to be a little bit different right now because these bags fall a lot slower than a regular ball would. So that's not something to worry about right now, but in the future when we do progress to using a regular ball, it's important to understand how high you should be throwing your ball. Now, what I like to aim for when I do juggle with a regular ball is just over my head, all right? You don't want to throw it to the ceiling because then it becomes too hard to gauge when the ball is going to fall down and when you need to, it's a mess. So you want to try and aim just above your head. Probably the length of your arm would be good. Now before we go ahead and jump into step 4, we're going to practice that motion of throwing 1 bag over to the other hand while holding on to the other bag. So for this activity, you're going to have your starting point with 2 bags in one hand, 1 in the other. You're going to throw 1 bag in the air and catch it with the other hand while still holding on to those other 2 bags. Now we're going to do this 10 times, but if you need to, feel free to do it as many times as you need in order for you to get more comfortable with it. Alright, here we go, 10 tosses. And I just want to mention it helps to hold the bag from the bottom with the opening facing the ground. And you also want to try and separate the bags in your hand because sometimes they'll get tangled together and it may not come out of your hands as you want it to. So try to separate them and do the best that you can. All right.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1 more, 10.
For step 4, it's going to start to get a little bit tricky because it's a little bit hard to explain. So I'll try my best to explain it as clearly as possible, but I'll also demonstrate exactly what I'm talking about. As you start to become more comfortable with tossing a bag while keeping the other in your hand, the next step is understanding when to toss that other bag. So, previously we've been keeping one bag in each hand as we toss one back and forth. This time, we're working on passing one bag over to the other hand, then tossing the bag that's already in that hand to your other hand, just as you can see here in this demonstration. Now, this is where juggling can become a bit tricky because you have to be able to throw the one bag in the air, then quickly catch the other. It's really hard to explain, but hopefully this demonstration that I'm showing you right now can kind of help you visualize exactly what I'm talking about. And of course, we are going to practice this so that you can become a lot more comfortable with it and familiarize yourself with this juggling motion. So for this practice portion, we are going to do exactly what I just explained. We're going to do it 10 times. But as always, feel free to do it as many times as you want to help you get a little bit more comfortable. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3 more, 8,
9. One more. 10. Good job.
So for step 5, all it takes is repeating that motion that we were just practicing over and over and over again, where you toss and catch, and toss and catch. Toss to the opposite hand. Right before you catch it, you toss and catch. Toss, catch, toss, catch. Now here's what this motion will look like. Toss, catch, toss, catch, toss, catch, toss, catch, toss, catch, toss, catch. And it's as simple as that. So ideally for this lesson, I would have liked to use scarves, which are a lot less bulky, and I believe they fall a lot less slower than these grocery bags would. But we are going to use what we got, and the grocery bags did a great job for this lesson, especially for someone who's just learning how to juggle. So over time, as you start to get better with the grocery bags, you can then progress on to using a regular ball. So once you get to this point, it helps to use 3 of the same object. So for example, one of these is a lacrosse ball, and it's significantly heavier than these other 2 objects that I have. But the good thing is they're around the same size, which is important as well. So with this juggling motion, this is what it would look like with a regular ball. And as you can see, I'm throwing them not too high, just over my head. If you throw them too high, it becomes hard to gauge when you need to throw your next ball. So hopefully this lesson has helped you all learn how to juggle for the first time. I remember when I learned for the first time, and it's definitely something exciting to do. That is going to be it for today's lesson, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Whether you were just learning how to juggle or you're looking for something to help you get better at it, those activities are definitely a great way to help you practice and get that motion down pat. As always, if you have the time, please take the survey that is located down in the description. It's going to help me understand what I can do better for each video or what I'm already doing well. So that's going to be it for today. I will see you all next Friday.